I hope you can hear me all right, can you? I want to thank you all for coming here. I feel a little bit nervous because I'm used to doing things, and it's not, this is a bit holding me in. In any case, yoga has always been part of me since I was 8 years old. I thought it was a big game. I didn't realize that yoga wasn't for girls at the time. And I decided that if boys could do it, I could do it too. This is what I believe in, really and truly. To start every day not thinking about what you can't do or anything negative inside of you, but to start the day knowing that within you is all the power of the universe. Not somewhere out in space, but right inside of you. And so I learned to breathe properly, and I did so much with Ayurvedic medicine, and I've taught a little bit around the world. It's the breath of the eternal is right inside of you, and you can use it every day. When you take a breath and you feel that energy rising, it's almost like smoke in the fire. A smile doesn't come just here. A smile comes from deep inside of you. And that's why when I'm doing yoga, I bring my fingers like this. I'm not dainty. I push right in strongly. Now my hand here is freezing cold, but my hand there is filled with the energy of life. And so as I press them in like that, I can feel that energy rising out throughout my body. And I know that there's nothing I can't do, for I'm not the doer, I'm the instrument of life. And that's what yoga is really all about, to feel the energy within you, to be in touch at all times. And everybody's talking about age and things like that. I talk about, go and look at the trees. The trees are hundreds, sometimes thousands of years old, and they're not getting older. Every year, they're recycling themselves. So if trees can do it, I can recycle myself too. So I have no intention of getting old. Just so sometimes I get caught out because I fall over and break something inside of me. But you know, when they tell me I can't do it, I don't believe in that. There is no such verb as to can something. You actually learn to know that within you, that power is working. And so I do yoga, and I can feel it within me and around me. It's, whenever I've been frightened in life, I've tuned inside of me. Whenever I've been in anything that people said you can't do, I don't agree with them. There's nobody going to tell me, spend my time, waste my time on this earth. When I want to tune in to the oneness behind all things, and that oneness starts within me first. How can I ask someone else to smile at me if I'm looking like this? I walked in one day and somebody said to me, well, it's all right for you, but you know, at our age, we can't do things. So I said, well, how old are you? And one gentleman said, I'm 69. Someone else said they were 72. And this other person, the oldest one, was 75. I said, well, you are my children. I'm 85. So I have learned really and truly not to feel that I'm superior, but that I have the same way of feeling the energy that's in the whole of nature. the whole of this oneness in everyone in this room. And if you will with me, bring your hands in Jhana Mudra, thumb and first finger together, and place them on top of your knees. As you push down into your elbows, shut your eyes for a moment, and taking a breath, draw that energy upwards until it's between the eyebrows, and hold it there a moment, and then exhale twice as slowly. And don't let your body sag, don't let it droop, but bring it down into the base. And now we're going to take a breath, and we're going to just stretch out, and not just here. This is nothing. It gets you nowhere. But I'm going to go into my fingernails, right out here, and stretch upwards. And bring the hands together and push them out of yourself. Good. And now cross them over. And bend them down. And turn and look to the right. And follow that energy right up to the ceiling. And go over to the left and see how far you can go. Over. Good. And then inhale and come back up. And look to the left. And go over to the right. And stretch all the way over. And then back to center. Just let it reach out and sigh as you come down. Bravo, wonderful. So now you're just going to bring this hand across and take another one in front and never turn without lifting. So I'm going to feel the breath lifting me out of my body, and I'm going to follow it all the way around the world, and wrap it around your waist, and look out over, and feel yourself part of the whole universe. And then swing back again, and move over to the other side as far as you can go, and reach into it, and come back to center. Just thank you, Mother. And stretch out. So when I'm on the floor, I'm sorry, I can't do anything lodged in there. I'm going to come up here. There we are. Can you see all right? So I'm going to just take my breath, and today I'm going to turn toward the back and move all the way back around. And then come back to center. And push it out the side, and turn to the other side, and feel the energy there. And come back, take a breath, pull my foot in, stretch this one out, move all the way behind me, stretch, come back, and all the way over this way, and back to center. As we come into here and hold on to my foot, send the energy right up into my instep and drop my shoulders. Then stretch it out and feel right across the whole world, and take it and stretch it out there. And then you always thank your body, reach in. We do it with the other one. Come in for you. Now this one is my hip replacement. When they've taken out a rod and a replacement. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Take the foot up and stretch it up, and out the side, and cross it over, and over. And you see, it doesn't know it can't do it, so it does it. And stretch. I'm going to go over. And as I push into my feet, if I'm like this, there's no energy in my body. But if I'm like this, there's energy channeling through the center of me, so that when I can pull myself forward and take a thing, I can go over and stretch and pull myself through. And I'm doing very simple things because they have all of these contraptions here, and I'm not very used to them. And stretch. So you're pulling myself through. So it's silly to to say what you can and cannot do. I like to feel that if I'm going to do here, that if I just lean in like this and take it up to see, I can stretch it up, and I can bring it up and down. And each time I breathe with it, and breathe out, and breathe in and hold it there a little while, and this one is a little down. Or swing over to the other side and put it in. Stretch it. See, this one goes up high. But what I'm using is the breath. It's the breath flowing through me, the power of life, taking it up there and back down, and really stretching into it and feel it coming down. So these are silly things that all belong to the breath of the eternal right inside of you. Know that there is nothing you cannot do, for you're not the door. That which is within you is the door, and you're the instrument. So there's nothing impossible. It's anything I would like to show, but this thing is in the way. But if I want to, I can take my breath, I hope, and come around. So, what do I want? I can move around and bring it into my forehead. And this way, I'm letting the bloodstream go back and open up and stretch. I can make it a little bit harder, talk to it a wee bit more, and come over and feel the energy in there. And then always, I thank my body. So it all sounds very silly, but you have to realize that all day long, the bloodstream is flowing down here. And this is why many times we get cramps in our legs and everything. So you can do what I do, possibly. I have raised my bed up, and I put some junk underneath it. And when I come in at night, I put my feet on the edge of the bed, and I push up in there, and I make the bloodstream move back down. Because with this, what you call John Wayne, the famous cowboy in films, when he died, they found out that he had clots in his veins of blood that had become like cement. And this is what disturbed him. So I had been with MGM making films, and I thought, oh, maybe this is just a big publicity deal. But then I got a call from England, and someone in Wales was three weeks in a coma and being fed every day, but they couldn't get her out of this coma. So I went to England and out to Wales, and I started to work on our feet. This wonderful foot. This is where the energy starts from. And I worked on her foot, and in 3 hours, she came to. And the doctor said to me, "What pill did you give her?" I said, "I didn't give her any pill. I worked on her foot. I worked on the energy in the feet." And it came to. So whatever I have to do, I never let myself give in to sitting like this. I never do that. I always feel that when I'm working, I'm tuning in to the eternal energy within me. The breath of the whole life force is inside of me. And so I've been able, not because I'm getting older, I have no intention of getting old. I don't want to spend my life thinking what I can't do. I'm only putting into my mind the things I know are possible. Whatever I get up in the morning, I start the day always. This is going to be the best day of my life. Because whatever you put in your mind materializes. So don't let it get lodged with a lot of things that are obstacles. Tune in and know that nothing's impossible. As I tune into this inner self, I open the door. It's like a wonderful flower. In French, we call it perce-neige. In English, it's called piercing the snow. That tiny little flower is so fragile that if you touch it, its stem breaks. But it manages to go through the ice. And when it comes out through the ice, it opens up its petals. And this is what we can do, the same thing. When we're learning to breathe, if you put your hand here, don't breathe and just go like that. That doesn't work. When you go here, feel the energy rising up here and spreading out here. And when you do this, you will find that you overcome a lot of the pressure in life. You can feel the energy within you, and you can start the day like all of nature. And I watch nature every day. I watch all of the animals that I love. In fact, I'm part of the Bronx Zoo, and I'm on the Save the Animals, Save the Whales, save the wolves, save everything. I believe in it because I've learned so much from animals and from nature, and I base whatever I'm doing on nature. And so I sound funny when I say yoga. Yoga is just meaning to unite whatever is in this universe and to make it one, at one, without a second, with the whole Lord of life. So when I'm talking, you want to really feel that as I come up here, I'm really coming up. But I haven't finished my breath yet. It hasn't even got next to my heart yet. And when I push up there, it's still there. Now I'm in it. So this up here, I'm moving that continuously within me. And I do a lot of things that I can't do here. This thing here that's around my neck is sort of strangling me. I thought, how can I show anyone what yoga is all about if I'm strapped in? So forgive me if I'm a little bit at a loss what to show you today. But if any of you have any questions,
well,
you may.
I have one, Tao. Yeah, and so we talked about at the beginning one of your teachers, one of your influences, Mahatma Gandhi. And so share with us how you met this little man with glasses and how he has influenced your thinking. You say that he decorates the walls of your mind.
I went into my home one day early, and I saw a little man sitting there with glasses. And I saw everybody touching his toes. I didn't know what it was all about. And I was ushered out of the room because too many people were trying to get to him. 3 weeks later, my uncle said to me, just put together, no fancy clothes. I'm taking you on a trip. And don't tell your aunt because she'll say it's dangerous. And so I got really excited, and I just put some extra clothes in, nothing fancy. And I found out that we were marching in Gujarat. So I had to go all the way from French India right through to Gujarat and be with Gandhi. And it was a bloody affair, really. It was really terrible. But actually, because we had the French flag up, because I came from French India, and because I had the French flag up, nobody came near us. But so we managed to march. Gandhi liked me. I was just a little girl, and full of wonder of what was going to come next in life. And he taught me a lot of things. He came to our house several times, and so did Prime Minister Nehru. And so I was in there. My uncle asked me never to look down on anybody, to know that no one, this farmer may be illiterate because he can't read or write, but he knows more about the soil than you do, so you're illiterate about soil. He made railways all over the world because he wanted to design things that brought people together. And he was kind of an incredible man that was known even as far as Russia. He worked on the Trans-Siberian Railroad, showing them some of the things.
Well, in many ways, your uncle was your first guru, your first teacher, and when you were a little girl, you used to listen to the grass grow, and when people ask you about meditation, because we'll end up closing, with a meditation here, you often say that your life is your meditation. What does that mean?
My life?
You said, my life is my meditation.
Well, someday just sitting like this gets you nowhere. When you look at all of you, you've come from everywhere in the globe with one thought, oneness. The thought that's pulsing through your own body is pulsing through mine too. And I'm so much against the people who think that they know everything in life. I know that if we get together, there's nothing we can't do. We've taken everything out of the soil. We've taken the oil out. We've taken out of it the stones. We've taken out of it coal. And now we're doing the same thing with the sky. In the atmosphere, it's filled with pollution, and it's killing everything. That's why it's raining here. When I came knowing that if I came to this wonderful place, that I would see the sunshine. Unfortunately, I seem to have brought the rain with me because it happened to me. I was teaching in Maui and near Hawaii, and it rained. I went to Nassau and I taught in Nassau. It rained. So I said, but when I get to Dubai, because I've been absolutely talking about Dubai for the past year, and I said, when I get there, it's going to have wonderful sunshine, but it's raining too.
We did a program at the United Nations in June, and it was for yoga for the Sustainable Development Goals, and you talked a lot about the mind, and you show us what almost a century of mindful, conscious, positive living looks like, and it looks pretty good. And so talk a little bit more about the mind before we close with a meditation. You say you don't like to put decay in your mind.
But that's interesting. You've already answered one.
Swami Prabhupada.
I'm trying to get yoga through. We had 36 countries that are thinking of yoga. Because it's fine to have football or baseball, you know, sport, those type of things to bring people together. But always one side of it loses. With yoga, everyone comes together, and then no one loses. So I want to feel that your heart beats the same as mine. The beauty of nature, the beauty of this life, is when we all come together. This is very special. And so how do we do it? Just tune into your own self every day. Take out of your speech what you can't do. The verb is to be able. Can and cannot. You can fruit and vegetable. When you want to do something in life, we want to do. And I want to teach. And I'd just like to tell you a silly story. I was with some children, 3 years old to 6 years old, and 6 years old to 12. And at the end, I sat talking like this with them. And they were having fights with each other. There were a lot of things going on at school and violence. And I said to them, you know, you have to bring together oneness. You have to feel that your friend is breathing at the same time as you, thinking things. So we talked, and then I went back to that place, and a little boy came up to me and he said, Tao, I agree with you completely. We must find this oneness. So when I come to class every day, I go up to my friend and I give him a hug. And so he sits next to me. So his mother wanted to put him away from me, but he was determined that he was going to tell me. The teacher said, you know something now? My whole class comes in and does exactly that. He's taught them all to hug each other, the next person that sits to him. He said, so now everybody in my class goes to each other and says, good morning, that I love you this morning, and they sit down. She said, it's the most extraordinary. They were all fighting and jumping around, running around like mad. No, nothing serious. And now they come into my class and they're ready to work. So another little girl said to me, well, Tao, what are you going to do when you retire? I said, I'm going to dance my way to the next planet. She said, that makes sense. We've put a man on the moon, and we're putting them on the stars. And when I get to be your age, I'll be able to find you again. I mean, won't that be wonderful? 6 years old. So if we can get children to feel this oneness now while they're young, as we grow up, we can face the whole of the problems in the world. And if you take the breath of life, which is right inside of you, it's the breath of the eternal. And you learn, even with yoga, I don't want to breathe here. If I take a breath and sniff, it doesn't even get to my heart. It's the ladder of life. The breath of life has to travel upwards. And it comes even out of our feet. So I can tell you, you can't work on your knees and everything. If you work on your feet and there's nothing you can't do. You can make everything work. And this is no stupid things. You have no idea how many times I've been told, you won't be able to do this, you can't do that. I said, it's not in my vocabulary. All I want to know is what I can do, how I can move through life and help other people. And if I sit there like this, it won't work. But if I sit there and feel the breath of life within me, then this whole room will be electric. And this is what's important with you. So I sound very silly, but I think that nature also tells us every year that we can renew ourselves. So don't sit there like I'm sitting, thinking of the cold. Sit there and know that right inside of me, I'm quite warm. That energy is rising. And you have brought into this room such a wonderful power, special. So if you will, just for fun, put your hands very gently with your fingertips facing inwards on your ribs. And now don't start from here. Your breath doesn't come from there. It comes right deep down in the base of the spine. And as you feel it coming up, almost feel it like smoke in the fire. And see how much you can feel yourself rising out of yourself. And see how much you can open it up. And I haven't finished taking a breath yet. Now I'll breathe. So breathe in the breath of life and breathe out peace. And as you breathe it in, send that peace around the world. And it will come back to you. Because the circle always comes back, not going east or west, but everywhere. Moves up there. And then exhale. So here, if you want to do it, I have someone who told me that if I make 100, this is in India. If I make 100, he's going to have 100 camels and 100 elephants, and I can invite 100 people to celebrate my 100th birthday. So I'm really going to make it. And then I can invite everybody to come and ride.
So let's close with a meditation. And so if you will, in the tradition of another great teacher, as he says, John Kabat-Zinn, sit in a way that embodies dignity, whatever that means to you. So your spine could be a little tall, shoulders you can roll up and back, let them ride down, and head.
Excuse me, one little thing. If you live north of the equator, have your head facing the North Pole. Mm-hmm. If you're from Australia and South, Chile or Argentina, you have your head facing the South Pole. Those are the two major factors that make this world work and cleanse it of everything. So I have something, yes.
And so close your eyes and begin to tune into your breath, simply noticing where you are right in this moment without trying to change anything. Just be with where you are right in this moment and follow your breath. The breath comes in and there's space, and the breath goes out and there's space. And in this stillness, begin to listen to the sound of Tao's voice as she shares some words on meditation and life.
What is the pathway to meditation? Is it when we look up into the heavens, into a star-studded sky, and experience the wondrous stillness that shines down onto our subconsciousness? Is nature showing us the way to merge into the vast stillness that glitters like a jewel in space? We find ourselves centered in a fairy atmosphere, experiencing a sense beyond our intellect, realizing that we're but a small seed in this massive cosmos. A mental confusion blocks our mind, even as it penetrates our physical being. Yet no answer seems to occur. No magical explanation comes up through this space or for the answer to be revealed. The truth is that oneness is not right out in space, but deep within us. If we travel this yogic journey, the path of the chakras, the ladder of life, will move through every step of yoga, past mind and matter, from finite into the infinite. An aura luminous moves throughout our being and whispers through our soul, and we experience a flash like the stars in the sky lighten up the heavens. So for a brief moment, we are one, without a second, with the whole universe. So I feel that I can say this to you today. Look to this day, for it is life, the very essence of life. In its brief course lies all the verities and all the realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is already a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, such is our salutation. Don't look downwards or backwards, but rise with the beauty that will burst across the heavens and your life and your body. Revitalize yourself, excuse me, with each breath you take, and believe that all the power of this universe is right inside of you. And in India we say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. The oneness behind all things. And know, like Vivekananda said, truth is one, sages call it by many names. If you want to go to the top of the mountain, you don't have to change your religion to go there, for all paths lead you there. And that's what I believe in, that all of us are going to the same pinnacle of life. And with every breath I take, that's what yoga is all about, to tune in and to revitalize what we were born with, the pureness of life, and thus we can come together. And that's what yoga makes you feel like.
Thank you, Tao. If you can begin to open your eyes, and as Tao says, if we can breathe together, we can be together. So Tao, thank you for sharing your energy, your insights. Any last closing words before we go off on this day?
Well, if you actually did want to do something, could do something in yoga, excuse me. You want to do something every morning, you just grab hold of somebody else. And as we come in and turn, move over, and you give me your hand and I give you mine, and we turn up, we make the whole universe one place and stretch. And you can come back to center. So you can feel that oneness inside of you. And reach up, reach across the whole universe that way, and turn and do it this way, and just move over and stretch, feel it, and come back to center, and always salute your body and stretch. So if you want to, you can actually bring your foot right up like this, the tree of life. Stretch it. Oops. Not that. But that's a good idea. Just falling over. So don't pull me over, just pull me upwards, just taller than I am. And as I stretch into here, There's nothing I can't do. I can bring it into me. I can take it across the whole world. And I can thank all of you for coming and putting up with me.